Because this was such a tragic thing and they're actively looking into it, trying to figure out what's going on, I'll be uploading about this this morning. That, you know, different scenarios, but I just simply think they died from the heat. So normally I just do a raw upload where I have to keep talking. You know, you can't stop, you can't think. Well, this one I'm actually going to edit it and do it as, you know, a video with different clips as I pause and then I make another statement and this, that, the other thing. This first part shows where it is because the news doesn't show it and they don't say it. One thing I want to point out is so-called Devil's Gulch isn't here. It's over here. It's here. So where people are coming up with Devil's Gulch, I don't know. Here's the valley, what? San Fernando Valley, this huge valley. And for reference, there's Los Angeles. And so these people were driving up from below, from down here, into an area that they always have known is get away from the heat, get up where it's nice and cold. But I need help on this. For instance, they say the temperatures were 107, but that could mean down here. That could mean down here. If the temperatures were over 100, where they drove up here, is definitely deaths by heat, because they went up into an area they expected to get away from the heat. I want to point out the trail. Okay, here's where they would have parked. Okay, in this area here, and then hiked in, which is relatively level, but it's steep and you're on a narrow cliffy area. And dogs are often seen up there, but dogs often have to be carried back from hikes because they can't take it, they can't take the heat. So this distance to Height Cove is 3¼ miles. 3¼ miles. So some people put 9 miles. I don't know why they do that. I don't know why they do that. I see it, and if I'm wrong, someone let me know. I haven't been there. Okay, so they hike along, This is where you view the wildflowers, all along this trail. It's a very famous trail for wildflowers. So they hike along, and the sun is rising, it's getting warmer. And this is map view north, so they would have been in shade. All of this would have been in shade during the morning. Okay, but the sun is rising, and they do make it to Height Cove with the so-called algae. That's why they're preaching so much about the algae, is because of where the bodies were found. So they're hiking along and extending themselves further and further, knowing, well, we'll find respite at the river. But they get down there and it's choked with algae and a green mucky mess. Okay, so the issue is heat, not the fact they got down there and started eating algae and feeding it to the baby and the dog. It was heat. They get down there and there was no respite. So I visualize it that the bodies were found here, that they came down here, and there is shade down there among the trees, but then they have to go back. Well, they know that if they go back this way, they're going to be burning alive in direct sun. They would have been familiar with the trail and know that you can go up, cross over the mountain, drop down. Now that's fatal. That's fatal. And then come down to Indian Flat RV Park. They didn't start out at Indian Flat RV Park, but the pictures of the recovery, you see that road. You see that perfect road with the cones going across it. That's because the recovery team did park here. They did park here, and those are the pictures you see. This is called Heights Mayan Road. And so apparently they made it in there, and at some point, you know, they stopped and took the famous picture with the cones across the road. So that's where the recovery team went in. They didn't come in from the area that they hiked in on. So when you see the helicopter flying down along the side of a mountain, the helicopter is flying down towards this area. And so I visualize that they got down here and go, we're in hot water. They're starting to have heat distress, which they didn't expect, because that's normally their cool place to get away from the heat. And so that's why the wife was found. She was found up the slope. And so I visualize that took place up here. Now, she would have stayed with them, baby possibly already gone, dog likely already gone. What do we do now? What do we do now? She refuses to leave the husband. They stay together. But she lasted the longest, and that's why they say she was found up a hill. I think it's in this area here where she was found, where in desperation, she knows, I can't go back this way. But they knew the trail did go up, and so she made a last-ditch effort and was found in here the way I perceive it. That's why I say I need help. If I'm totally wrong about this, let me know. I picture it death by heat. Death by heat in an area that they went in the spring and didn't anticipate that it was going to be hotter than hell up there, and also coming in the shade. This would have all been in the shade. This is map view north. Map view north. This would all been in shade. Then they get there. Well, we're in hot water now. What do we do? And that is how I perceive it. Yeah, I think I'll do this as a separate upload to show people the location, but then I'll add this and I'll do an actual video as to different scenarios. Pretty much I just said it.